Hi. Hi. I hope you have a good night. Sometimes that's what you gotta tell people,
They
bro.
probably heard your ass too.
That's fine, honestly. I had a lady flick me off when I was driving over here, bro, because she was speeding. Ain't that crazy?
Ain't that a bit chunk?
Like, don't be a cam, all right? Don't be out here going 10 over the speed limit, flicking other people off because you're speeding.
I don't do that. I don't do that. But hope everyone's doing well. We hope, you've been having a great week. But, it's your boys with a regularly scheduled program. Keep it a buck. We got the boys Rue, got the boy Cam coming at you now live from Opinionated Network. And, we got a good word today. I think it's going to talk about kind of what we've done as owners and, diving into everything it means, the word, things like that. But I want to start it off by asking Steve, how was your week? How's it been?
Yeah, if you're listening to this audio, I'm sorry the first thing you had to hear me do was sip that drink like that. That was very disrespectful. It was good, man. It was work. I think the biggest thing I've realized is, you can't really. Well, that's a good thing too. You're not gonna get out of this life what you don't put into it. So weeks like this remind me of I'm at where I'm at. Not because I'm not blessed or I'm not favored, and God doesn't love me, but I'm at where I'm at because I'm a victim of my circumstances, good or bad. But I'm also the main one that's in control of it. So I'm happy, man. I'm alive. Obviously, I'm breathing, right? Got a roof over my head, clothes on my back, food in my stomach. I have no reason to complain at all, bro. It could be 100 times worse. So to be in here in this moment, hopefully giving back to people who are listening to this, man, it's just another day. That's it.
That's it.
So,
That's great. That's good to hear. Trying to get this music aligned. That's my bad.
He's a terrible DJ. This is why Cam, fun fact, never
Stop.
DJs at any
Bro,
of the
just
functions.
stop it.
Because Cam,
Music
first
catalog-
of all, doesn't have a cue ready.
Stop.
His
Music
playlists
catalog
are
is
terrible.
Music catalog
He doesn't
is
take
expensive.
ownership
Nobody
of
listens
his
to as many
mistakes.
artists as I do. Simple. We can compare the Apple data at the end of the year.
Cam's been
I'ma have
playing
more
Gunna
numbers.
on repeat for the last 5 years.
Stop. I haven't been listening to Gunna lately. But yeah, my week has been pretty good, pretty productive.
I'm about to say, you talk about our weeks. How's your week?
Good. I'm actually going to California next week, so
Oh, that is next week.
Yeah, so
when do you leave for that?
Wednesday. So
This upcoming Wednesday?
yeah, that's the Wednesday coming up.
Oh my God.
So the good thing is we have a queue ready because I won't be able to record that Friday, but
We do have a queue ready.
we could maybe figure something out. We'll see. If anything, that might have to be Sunday, maybe Sunday night, maybe Monday.
Either way, it's
See.
feasible.
We could do something, but the good thing is we have a queue ready, so we won't get behind. So that'll be the good thing. You got to record like even when you don't want to, because of stuff like that. I mean, there was instance recently where I didn't really feel like recording, but now I'm glad we did because we got a queue. But yeah, first episode should be dropping.
Wait a minute. Whoa, you didn't feel like recording, bro. We're only like 4 episodes into this. What do you mean you don't feel like recording? Wait a minute, bro. You can't. Maybe episode. Let us get to double digits before you not start to feel like recording.
My bad.
Like, you see the energy Cam is bringing on this cast. Like, we're supposed to be here for, at least he's keeping it a buck. But he ain't got to keep it that much of a buck. You can keep it a nickel at that point, bro. I don't want to hear that.
But yeah, we're gonna jump right into it with the song 2009 by Mac Miller.
This is gonna be a weird thing to call this song, but this is the most, I feel like, human song I've ever heard. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, just straight to the point. Like
It's
you can feel that. You can feel like
you can feel the hurt,
emotion, the
you
hurt.
can feel the honesty,
Yes.
the transparency, and you can feel the ownership. Damn, that was kind of hard. Sorry, Kat.
Man,
Our fantastic producer isn't here, unfortunately.
she's not here, but
That's why she gonna see this and whoop me, but that's okay because it's all love.
thank you again.
I'm taking
for hosting
ownership
the
for that
spot,
mistake.
But yeah, I mean, everything's been going good, and
Everything has been going good, honestly. I mean, we're already. This is what season one,
1,
episode 4.
Yeah, season 1, episode 4, rolling them out, getting them out, and that's what's the important thing. You know, we've been consistent. We've only missed due to travel. It hasn't been like we both been in the same city. And
Yeah, absolutely. I think
what
that's a really good thing. As long as
So,
we've both been here, we've made the principle to come in and get
Yeah.
the work done, obviously, and not just go through it, but to actually be intentional with what we're doing. So I think that's a good thing about it is I'm starting to see the signs of that, again, that ownership for what we're doing. It's not like we're just tossing this around and kind of being, nonchalant with it. Like it's just, we're doing this to be cool, or we're doing this to have a podcast, or we're doing this just to do it, right? And that's the biggest thing. I think is we're Oh my gosh, excuse me. Forgive me. I'm gonna take ownership for that burp. But more or less, it's something where we're actively pursuing and investing our time into that, and that's what really excites me, bro. Because it takes a lot to want to actively invest your time, your effort, your emotions. They say the whole blood and sweat tears thing, and that's true. But I mean, when you feel that sacrifice and you experience it, it's a different story. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I feel like some people are too scared to take ownership in the things they love and they do. And I mean, to each your own, bro. It don't bother me any none. I just think it speaks more to your character, because if you love what you love, then take, not pride, but take joy in that.
Yeah.
Let it fulfill you.
Yeah.
So,
Oh yeah.
well, to jump into today's topic,
Let's do it.
I got a book, Cam.
Talk to me. Is this going to be the book club? The Opinionated book club? We might have to start it here soon. 'Cause
Hi.
we got a lot of readers in here.
And welcome to Rue's Book Club.
Yeah, let's get it going.
Today's episode, we're going to be presenting to you a lovely novel, a non-fictional, written by a former U.S. Navy SEAL, well, 2 former U.S. Navy SEALs, and Jocko Willink and Leif Babin. All right, enough BS aside.
Bro.
So, the funny thing about the author of this book, Cam, if
Yeah.
y'all are listening right now, and you obviously aren't seeing, and if you're seeing and listening, shout out to YouTube, then you're seeing I'm holding this book in my hand that's Extreme Ownership, How U.S. Navy SEALs Lead and Win, right?
Yeah.
It's by Jocko Willink and Leif Babin.
Got you.
I'm sure that's how you say the gentleman's name. And if for some reason one day Mr. Leif sees this and I mispronounce his name, forgive me. I apologize. So, I heard about Jocko when I was first in college, right?
Got you.
My strength and conditioning coach was a big Jocko, like balls to the wall, like Jocko guy. He essentially, and my roommate at the time, you've heard me talk about him before, Matt Williams, shout out Prelude Production. He put me on basically Jocko, and Jocko was this former U.S. Navy SEAL turned, like, I don't want to say businessman, but business advisor. He basically holds a lot of leadership training, and again, mind you, this is a #1 New York Times bestseller, and that's not just like a pretty thing they put up front. Like, what I'm trying to say essentially is that Jocko talks a lot about the qualities of leadership, accountability, and finding your identity naturally and taking responsibility for your actions. Now, as simple as that sounds, it's not as simple as you think. The big issue I think we have that Jocko explains well, mind you, I just started this book, full transparency, keep it a buck. I'm literally on page 39. This is 38, this is 39. I don't know if I zoom in here, y'all will see this, but it's page 39. So I'm not trying to sit here and act like I've already read the book entirely through and I'm just on, I'm not. I'm learning with you guys. The crazy thing about this book and the reason that it correlates so well with today's topic is that, mind you, I'm only 39 pages in, and the first chapter, really the intro, going into the first chapter, it hit a resonation with me, bro, because it was talking about leaders, right? Mm-hmm. And it's talking about chapter 1, funny enough, was called, where is it at? I don't want to misquote it. That's why I'm pulling this out. Chapter 1 is called literally Extreme Ownership, right? Just like the book title. So in it, Jocko essentially tells a story about how he's in Ramadi. I think it's Ramadi. It's in Iraq, essentially. He's in a city in Iraq. And he's leading a team that's basically combined with U.S. Army forces, U.S. Marines, and Iraqi militia that's fighting against Al-Qaeda. And essentially, they're in a hostile environment. They hear some shots pop off. A lot of miscommunication and what's the word I'm looking for? A lot of miscommunication essentially happens, and they encounter a situation that turns into friendly fire.
Yeah.
An Iraqi soldier ends up dead, and soldiers end up being hit, but not from who they were fighting,
Yeah.
but because they were shooting at each other.
Yeah.
So this situation gets out, and Jocko has to end up reporting this to his superiors, his commanding officer, the investigations officer. It's a big deal. They're throwing a full-blown investigation into this. Oh my God, how do we have what they call a blue-on-blue incident or friendly fire?
Yep.
And Jocko's like, I'm analyzing the situation. I'm seeing where things could have gone wrong. I'm seeing this factor and that in this situation. And then it all dawned on me. I realized the one person and the one thing this was for the blame. It was my fault. And I'm reading this and I'm like, there's so many factors going on.
Yeah.
How is this your fault? Like, again, as a commanding officer, yes, you do have to set the tone, you set the principle. If you're the boss, you're the management in anything you're doing, you're ultimately ahead and in charge, and you got the itinerary and you're planned out and you got everything aligned and in order, especially if you're talking tactical operations that consider strategy, game plans. Obviously, they're very specific with their coordinates and what they're doing. And naturally, again, this situation developed into a friendly fire situation where one of their allied forces, a member of their allied forces dies, and multiple American soldiers are hit. Ends up just being a friendly fire situation, miscommunication. And he blames himself. Now, mind you, there's so many things going on in that situation. You're in enemy territory. There's gunfire probably every few minutes. You know, you're in unfamiliar territory at that. You may be familiar with the lay of the land, but you haven't grown up there. You haven't been raised there. You're not from there. You're still a foreigner.
Yeah.
And it's a hostile territory.
Yeah.
So you're not in control necessarily of everything. I'm the person that always believed in control what you control. But it's crazy because Jocko goes in to say how he blames himself. And I'm going to give you the reasoning real quick as to why, bro. Because this was 2 nights ago, I was reading this specific excerpt. So he's talking about how everybody comes in, the CEO, the commanding officer, the platoon that was involved. Everybody is in a giant meeting. He had to put together this big PowerPoint presentation to explain how things went AWOL.
Okay.
So he ends up saying this. Then it hit me. Despite all the failures of individuals, units, and leaders, and despite the myriad mistakes that had been made, there was only one person to blame for everything that had gone wrong on the operation. Me. I hadn't been with our sniper team when they engaged the Iraqi soldier. I hadn't been controlling the rogue elements of Iraqis that entered the compound, but that didn't matter. As the SEAL Task Unit commander, the senior leader on the ground is in charge of the mission. I was responsible for everything in Task Unit Bruiser. I had to take complete ownership of what went wrong. That is what a leader does, even if it means getting fired. If anyone wants to be blamed and fired for what happened, let it be me. So he goes on to say how in this meeting he's asking who's to blame here. And a lot of SEALs start taking up, oh, it was me. I didn't clear comms. No, it's not. Oh, it was me. I shot without, checking to see if it was enemy or not. No, it's not. So he basically goes around and everybody's like, okay, what are you talking about at this point? Because we're trying to take ownership and accountability. And you're not,
get to it too.
Yeah. And he says, you know whose fault this is? You know who gets all the blame for this? The entire group sat there in silence, including the CO, the CMC, and the investigating officer. No doubt they were wondering who I would hold responsible. Finally, I took a deep breath and said, there is only one person to blame for this. Me. I am the commander. I am responsible for the entire operation. As a senior man, I am responsible for every action that takes place on the battlefield. There is no one to blame but me. And I will tell you right now, I will make sure that nothing like this ever happens to us again.
Sheesh.
It goes on to explain it was a heavy burden to bear. It's a pill to swallow. It's a pride matter.
Yeah.
But I like that.
Yeah.
I love that. I don't like that. I love that.
You got to.
Because the thing about ownership, Cam, is that not a lot of people want to take it. Because ownership means everything that goes on around what you do and around who you are and your actions correlates directly to who you are and your character. So for the fact that Jocko, again, mind you, he has a really popular podcast. He's a successful and accomplished military veteran, led Navy SEALs teams, has educated and coached up multiple successful big Fortune 500 company businesses and VPs. He's been everywhere. And he's giving this excerpt of how this one friendly fire situation where one person is killed, multiple people are injured, circumstances, realistically, you think about it, are out of his control, he still takes ownership and is like, I could have developed a better plan. I could have done this better. I could have handled this. All this essentially comes down to me because I wasn't cohesive enough, I wasn't thorough enough, and I wasn't responsible enough. And now we have to pay for it. And even if I take all of the trouble for it, I know that it was my fault and I am A-okay with accepting that responsibility.
Yeah.
Because I'm keeping myself accountable and I'm taking ownership of the situation. Cam, what does it mean to be an owner to you, bro? Let me ask you that.
I mean, to be an owner, to me, it's a lot of things, right? I mean, we can go to what I do with Opinionated and kind of just bringing that into it. You can be owner in multiple ways. You can own a business, you can own a corporation, you can, so that's like more of like a structured, essential approach to it, or you can be in ownership of your actions. You can be in ownership of your relationships, how you treat people, things like that.
Let's make it even more simple for folks.
Okay.
Let's say folks don't have a media company.
Okay.
Say folks don't have a relationship,
Okay.
a car.
Okay.
You own a car,
Yep. Or a house.
a house, a dog, something that requires maintenance, care, and an owner.
Yeah.
Because Cam, what happens when your dog, car, house has some sort of issue with it?
It's up to the owner to get it fixed, or it becomes a lingering problem, or if you put it to the side, typically it causes additional problems.
But what typically happens when you don't take accountable ownership of that thing you have, whether it be a house, car, or a dog?
I think that since they're essential parts of your component, then I feel like that kind of I think it's like a domino effect.
Their
essentially.
health, their status,
Exactly.
their reflection
Is on you.
is
too.
off of you.
And like everything, like if you meet someone and like you see they don't take care of something and they own that, or vice versa, they're gonna just point. It all revolves back to you. So if you're not taking care of yourself,
360 up front, it all comes
know what I mean?
full circle. Shout out to Drake. I had to get that bar off.
if you're not, if it doesn't come back to you in that light, then you don't own it, right? You could be, you could do something, right, and then cause damages, repercussions, or anything like that. But if you didn't own it, then it's not gonna be on you. That's like someone driving a car, whatever, that's not theirs. They crash it, right? At the end of the day, that person might have to pay, but the owner's still dealing with talking to the insurance, talking to auto body shops, etc., things like that. I mean, let's just be honest. I just got my car stolen recently.
He said, "Let's keep it a buck."
Let's keep it a buck. I just got my car stolen recently, and the person that stole the car, they didn't get caught, and they got to draw on my car for 4 or 5 days. Right now, I'm stuck with the damages that happened to my car. It has a check engine light now, and now I'm stuck with back and forth with my claim handlers, my insurance, the auto body shops,
All because of what?
ownership, and
that's a pill you have to swallow.
exactly. And I have to deal with that, and I have to take I just have to deal with it, and it's something that if you do own stuff, you have to deal with it. But let's take it another step, right?
Okay.
You could own something.
Okay, my drink's
These are all
getting- it's
materialistic.
getting interesting.
You know what I'm
Wait a
saying?
minute. Go ahead. No, I'm listening. Hey,
You
we got story time. You got book club with Rue. Now you got story time with Cam. Talk to me.
You can own a lot of stuff, right? But at the end of the day, that's materialistic things. You can obviously replace it, get it fixed, things like that.
For
Now, when
sure.
it comes to relationships, partnerships,
Tough
things
pill
like
to
that.
swallow.
If you're taking ownership in those, for example, you do a bad business deal with somebody, right? And you break a relationship or friendship. So it's up to someone in that to amend it, right? If you were the one that caused that situation, or even if you didn't cause it, there's ownership on both sides, right? There might be an ownership to where you're going to have to apologize for your actions and make up tenfold to show that person they can either trust you or at least be cordial with you again. Vice versa. If that happened to you, you can take it two different ways. You can be hostile, hold grudges, never talk to the person again, or you can take ownership and see maybe why the situation occurred. Maybe it was something you did in the past, things like that. This is business related, right? You can take it another step and go into relationships,
romantic
friendships,
for all of you that are dating, because some of us aren't.
Yeah.
Ha! Hey, how about that? I ain't got no ownership of anybody except my damn self. I'm kidding.
Wow, that boy Peyton, shout out to You Should Know's podcast.
Oh, you should know this. Yeah.
He posted a little video on his story, and he was like, I know I'm a hating motherfucker right now. He was like, but hey, he was like, everybody that kissing on their story, he like, take that off. I don't want to see that.
Hey, bro.
You know what I'm saying?
gotta take.
I just had to get that in there.
I gotta take.
So, shout out to the boy.
No, I gotta take ownership of that for real. I got to, boy. You be walking, man. I'm talking about you.
And you're like, damn.
Hello, darkness, my old friend.
You're like, damn, that should be me. That should be me. You know what I mean? It should be me.
You know, I should have played that Justin Bieber. That should be me holding your hand. You know what I'm saying?
Oh my gosh.
You know what I'm saying? God damn. But
yeah, I mean, there's a lot of pieces that
ownership is
combined with it.
It's funny because it's such like a complex picture.
Yeah.
But it's also such a simple one. Its principle is practical in nature, but its applications range to many, many, many different circumstances,
Got you.
bro. Let's talk about it like this, right?
Yep.
There's another, a quote, and I actually brought it up on my laptop. It's from good old Nip the Great. If you don't know who I'm talking about Nipsey Hussle.
Rip Nip.
Again, another beloved musician, but more than that, I feel like he was a great philanthropist. That's what.
He's a catalyst.
That's telling me. That's crazy.
A lot of words.
You're going to lose that spelling bee. I
Stop
feel
it.
like Nip was definitely he was more than a artist. He was a entrepreneur, and he was somebody who was actively looking to push the boundaries of just being a statistic and a stereotype, which is why I have a lot of respect for him. Music is also phenomenal, but you already know how I dig with the music. So Nip talks a lot about the concept of ownership. He was you got to own your own masters. He owned all of his own masters, which if you don't know what masters is, it's basically like your ownership to your music. The content you put out, you keep, right? A lot of people that are in music deals nowadays, they don't own their own music. And that's been a really big topic of conversation in the music industry, is that these people will put albums out with these record labels and these companies, and they don't necessarily get to keep the ownership rights to the music, a la masters. So Nip, if you know, was real big on ownership. I want to be independent. I don't need to sign with the big. I can do a production deal with the big, with the label and have them help push my stuff out, and they can get money from the sales, but they're not going to own these records. You know what I'm saying? And Nip was a big, fully independent guy, like fully independent. He may have had backings from a lot of guys who were pushed by labels, but Nip was a beloved figure within the community for this mindset.
No doubt.
So Nip says, it sounds simple telling people to work hard and never quit.
Oh, no doubt.
But to really execute and demonstrate those principles takes discipline and faith. Those are the two factors that I believe separate the good from the great, the successes from the failures. Now, I will tell you like this personally. Discipline and faith are key parts of ownership. Why is that? Because somebody who is disciplined, somebody who takes ownership is disciplined in what they're taking ownership over. If you made a mistake, regardless of when it was, it could be 10 years ago. I gotta sneeze. Hey, ooh, boy.
That boy said, oh,
Hey, yo, woo.
I'm dead.
I mean, so those principles take discipline and faith. Mm-hmm. Again, even if something happens 10 years ago, yes, it's the past, and yes, it's irrelevant to now. Both of those factors are absolutely true. The difference is, if you still take ownership, like, yeah, you know what, I did make that mistake. I did do that. I did mess up. Mm-hmm. I'm accountable for my actions. Mm-hmm. That doesn't mean that reflects where you're at now. That means you're not running from the things that have happened. And I think that's the thing that bothers me a lot with people.
Yeah.
Is they don't have the discipline to take ownership of their actions. Mm-hmm. And not even with their actions, just with the things on a day-to-day basis. You make an error at work, a lot of people try to find a finger to blame. Right? We try to naturally find an excuse. We try to naturally find a reason or something that will keep us out of either the trouble we may receive, right? The replication or the reciprocation of those consequences that'll come back on us for the actions we committed, mm-hmm. or they don't want to be on the back end of having to deal with the consequences.
Yeah.
And don't want to be you either don't want to be reciprocated with the actions that you put forward, or you just don't want to deal with the consequences of being disciplined, which, good or bad, it happens. A good consequence from being disciplined is keeping yourself committed to the things you want to do and how you want to act. On the same side, a bad thing about being disciplined is you have to hold yourself to those same commitments. And again, we're human. We make mistakes. Mm-hmm. I'm not saying we don't. But taking ownership kills your ego because it makes you acknowledge the mistakes, the good and the bad, mm-hmm. the successes and the failures.
Mm-hmm. Talk to me.
That's what separates it.
Yep.
Same thing with faith. Ownership has faith in it because you have this unwavering belief that no matter what, again, the introduction in this book was crazy because he says, like, a victory could be all but certain, and that one thing will completely crumple your plan and you will go home with a sick loss.
Yeah.
Or defeat can be all but 2 steps away from you, and it's that little sliver of hope that allows you to come through in the crunch time for a dub.
Yeah.
And it's those 2 things that are in cohesion, discipline, faith, that help build to the concept of ownership, bro. It's tough because it's not just a matter of who's responsible for this, whose fault is this, who does this belong to, who did this, why did this happen, who, you know what I'm saying? It's, at the end of the day, who is the owner of this? Who is the driving force behind this?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Everybody, I hate to say stereotypical shit, bro, but everybody's like, you're responsible for your actions at the end of the day. And that's true. It doesn't matter what beliefs you have or where you come from or how you are responsible for your actions. That is a pill I've had to swallow. Unfortunately, very rough.
Oh, me too. Me as well.
Cam, let me ask you like this.
Up?
What's one of the biggest pills you had to swallow because of ownership? And why do you, and put it in a sense of the practical application you took from it, and then from your ego, what hurt so much about it? Oh, we're gonna get spicy on this one today.
I think that's from like a couple perspectives, right? I mean, I've dealt with ownership in my personal life, relationships, friendships. Not really. I would say friendships that kind of related towards the business model, but nonetheless, is mainly relationships. Like with ownership, like there's been times where you reflect on a situation, if you really love someone or etc., where maybe you didn't do things 100% all the way. You were kind of doing the bare minimum. And I think I deal with that even now, like just continuing to evolve, like giving everyone, like, I feel like I'm like a lot of people like me, like not to toot my own horn, but I feel like I give everyone like a lot of energy, but I definitely feel like
you're cool.
I definitely feel like I pour in more into others, which is normal, but I definitely I have a problem with like owning, like I don't owe everyone all that energy. Like I feel like I have to give everyone the same energy. And I feel like I have to like know how to know like, oh yeah, you don't deserve that from me, so I shouldn't be doing that. But in my mind, I need to own like it's okay to not do that, I guess. Like it's kind of a flip on things.
It is. You owe yourself more than you owe anybody else.
Yes.
But in that same sense, you still hold your actions to be accountable to everybody else if they affect everybody else. You know what I mean? That's like you got to think about it like this, right? If you are, I'm not opposed to the whole self-love movement, right? I'm not opposed to all people wanting to put themselves first and people wanting to put themselves in a position to where they, they naturally, if you, we can talk relationships, right? Romantically. If you want to be a single individual, obviously we're in our mid-20s.
It's a weird time. I mean, there's a lot of people, like you say, it's a weird time.
They want to,
Mid-20s.
Some people want to be single, some people want to be married, like myself. That's a different story. The big thing with that is you're finding yourself.
Yeah.
And I don't think finding yourself has a limit in terms of age or progression or where you're at. I think it's more so from the accountability of owning up to your feelings, owning up to who you are and where you're at. A lot of people say they may want a relationship, an investment, whatever you call it, right? Whatever you want to put it, however you want to sauce it up.
Of course.
But you start getting into it, and then your actions start reflecting the fact that maybe you don't want to be in a relationship.
Of course.
Maybe you want to be single. Maybe you want to find out more about yourself. Maybe you want to enjoy life for what it is and how. Okay, cool. But if your actions are affecting somebody else, you have to take ownership for that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
And that's a tough pill to swallow because as much as we want to take ownership in those actions, it's going to, shoot our ego down first and our pride, which is typical, as it should. And then number 2, you're going to have to hurt somebody.
Yeah.
And then you're going to have to take ownership over the fact that you hurt somebody.
Yeah.
So not only were you wrong and your ego shot, but you also hurt somebody because you didn't want to be wrong.
Yeah.
And that's just one example. We've seen this happen in many aptitudes of life. We've seen this happen in sports. We've seen this happen in entertainment. We've seen this happen in our day-to-day lives. We've seen this happen in business. We've seen this happen. It's not an asset asset. It's not a facet of life
Yeah.
that this stuff doesn't happen, bro.
Yeah.
And that's why when I first started reading this book, it's crazy how I got this book. I got this book because the director of sales for the company I currently work for was like, hey, you're a Jocko fan. I'm a Jocko fan. Did you ever read his book? And I was like, no, I never got a chance
You never
to.
got into it,
And he was like, well, if I were to get it for you, would you read it? And I was like, absolutely.
Yeah.
Like,
of course.
and what it made me do is, okay, it was a gift, number one. It was a gift from somebody important, number two. But number three, it's going to keep me accountable, and I'm going to take ownership in this. Because, again, if I talk to him, have a conversation with him down the road, and he checks in with me, dude's a pretty stand-up guy.
Yeah.
But you can't BS a BSer.
Oh.
Like, at all.
Or finesse a finesser.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You can't press a presser. And you can't step a stepper. Do you see what we're doing here? It's not the fact that you can kind of get your way through the grass and get it. At some point, bro, you're going to expose yourself. Because you're not going to take ownership. You're not going to be cognizant. You're not going to be aware of everything you're putting out there. So if I don't take ownership of the fact that, hey, he sent me this amazing book, and now for myself, and obviously for the fact that I'm trying to grow as an individual, and this is obviously a beautiful way to grow, but on top of that, it's the fact that he invested in me enough to get me a book that he thought was quintessential in my development as a leader. I mean, bro, as somebody actively investing into my life.
Yeah.
Now, am I going to take ownership of the fact and acknowledgement that somebody actively wants me to grow as a man and as a leader and be put in a better position, not only for my career personally, but for my business career?
Yeah.
Or am I going to sit there and be like, hey, cool book, dude. I'm not going to throw it. I actually like this book. But you get what I'm saying, bro? It's like, I don't want to sit here and.
I mean, you can even take it more of like the approach. I mean, we both kind of know ownership when it comes to, this content creation. How much does it really mean to you? Like, I mean, for me and you, like, there's been times where, do you really own it? Are you taking ownership of your actions, right? Everything's going to be a reflection of you. And that's why, like, for you, for example.
Oh, it was a tough pill to swallow.
It was a tough pill to swallow.
And I talked about it episode 1.
Episode 1. It's like, do I really want to do this for the right reasons? Am I taking ownership of why is this not happening? Why am I feel like I'm getting left behind? Blah, blah, blah. Things like that. And then for me, like, it was more of this fact is like, we started this cool thing, cool company, cool idea. We're still like, new to it.
Filling out the cracks and whatnot.
Are we really taking ownership of it? Like, does it really mean a lot to us? Now it does. Like, we're obviously like I'm editing, Carl's editing, everybody's editing, but it's even taking it that next step, right? Like now everything the affiliated Park Car Talks, Keep It a Buck, obviously Opinionated Off Topic, and everything we do with the sports side. I want all that to be a reflection of one, not only me and Carlos, because like we essentially started it and we're bringing everyone along with us for the journey, but it's more of the people we're bringing along with us. The reason they're coming along with us is because they really care. It's all ownership. Everyone's an owner. Everyone's in control of what they want to do, control. And it's about challenging each other and making sure, you take the product to a next level, right? Like you can't be stagnant. You can't be doing the same, what I mean? From a quality standpoint, it has to be, you have to have ownership with that. You can't have a fire quality podcast one day and then have a, it looks super grainy.
I semi-invested.
You know what I mean? Like, it's just like, I just threw it together. I need to get something out, right?
I need to get content out. And that's the thing. So, funny you say that.
Yeah.
That's the ownership battle I fought. And, I mean, you could toss ownership out the window. That's just the battle I fought in terms of being and owning up to my actions. I was going to put out content and, again, I'll dive deeper into that because I got to take ownership for my actions.
Yeah.
Content was coming out fire for a while, bro. You couldn't see me without maybe one or two videos.
Crazy, bro.
Like, for a good period of time.
Yeah.
Hit one spot and all that. Literally dropped a 2022 announcement video. Dropped, I think, maybe a couple more videos after that.
A couple of reactions.
I think I dropped probably like 3 or 4 reactions and then 2 Sunday soliloquies. And I got comfortable, fam, and I had to take ownership of that. I moved home. I was with my friends again. I'm a young adult now. I haven't seen a lot of these folks consistently since I graduated high school. And it's not even the same people, but it's some of the same people I came up with in terms of the ones I developed relationships with. And I'm back again. I'm back home and I'm in my area and I'm working this job and everything's just so easy and peachy and then.
Yeah.
That's it. There wasn't a point of there wasn't a point to where I lost interest or a point to where this didn't garner my attention anymore. It just got to a point to where I was going through the motions and I lost all sort of traction and momentum with how I wanted to move.
Yeah.
That's it. And I take full ownership and accountability for that. I was the one that was responsible for putting videos on my channel. I was the one that was responsible for producing content and surrounding myself with people who wanted to see my content and who wanted me to put out content and who wanted me to be a content creator. I was responsible for letting myself down, not only myself down, letting the people who supported me and my business and what I do now.
And really what you wanted to do, right? What you love, like everyone's talented in a way, but it's definitely like, you know, you gotta take ownership too, right? When stuff's not working out for yourself, you gotta kind of look back. I mean, this is jobs, this is anything that you do in your life. Like
you could be completely out of the realm of content creation, podcasting,
and you got
entertainment. You could literally look at it. You could be completely cut off from the world.
like a job. Why aren't you getting more work from your job? Maybe they don't trust you, or you know, why aren't you getting promoted? Maybe they don't trust you, or maybe you can't even do your job to the exceeded level. Obviously, there's a level of getting it done and being competent, but you gotta go above and beyond in a role to get elevated in a role. That's just how the world works in corporate America.
Let's break it down to the simplest level.
Yeah.
You have to take ownership over your body. That means eat. That means hydration. That means sleep. Right?
The essentials.
That is basics. That
Bare
is
minimum.
necessities. That is literally, even if you don't give two damns in a crock pot about anything outside of that, you're still responsible and over those actions. So, I say all that to say, even if you could care less about being a business owner or being in a relationship or owning a vehicle or whatever application ownership is about, you're responsible for yourself. You have to sleep every night. You have to eat every day.
You should hydrate every day.
You shouldn't. You have to hydrate every day.
There's a level to the hydration.
You have to hydrate every day.
You have to drink water, essentially. Most people drink juice and shit.
Every day. Yeah, no juice, man. It's H2O only.
And Pedialyte. If you want to sponsor us, go ahead and lob us that. But yeah.
Not Opinionated Media. Keep it a buck. AO Root. Cam Juice. Anyways, it's so simple. Everything you do has a sense of ownership, accountability, and responsibility to it.
Straight like that. Facts.
So, if the most simple, mundane, crucial parts of life have ownership written all on top of it, what is the reason that if you were to take a step to the next level, I want to own a business, I want to own a podcast, I want to own a media company, I want to own a 401k, I want to own a job, I want to own a house, I want to own a relationship.
All of it. Everything about it,
You have to take responsibility for everything that comes with it and stop looking for excuses. You do. Because what's going to end up turning around and biting you in your butt is you're going to realize where you lacked responsibility. Doubt and the enemy find an opportunity. I always believed the place that where I was at, even though I could blame circumstance, I can blame others, I can point the finger, I can say, oh, it's this, or oh, it's that, or oh, if I really wanted to,
Yep, tell them.
I can make it happen.
Yep.
Because ultimately, I'm responsible.
And obviously there's going to be obstacles and things along the way, but if anybody really owns something, takes ownership, wants to do something the way they love,
simple
or whatever, and that's pertaining, like we said, to anything, job elevation, life elevation, business elevation, then you're going to take that ownership.
Waking up and breathing.
And then you're going to, and I mean, it's been beautiful. Shout out to the boy CJ, like seeing him take ownership even more into PCT and his craft. Like, I got the hat on. Shout out to the boys. These will be for sale sometime this year. We got to work out some stuff business wise. But I mean, just, like, that's probably been one of the most beautiful things about him moving in with me. I've always wanted, obviously, with the start of this year and stuff like this, we wanted to really take it to the next level. Me and Carlos are both in a mindset where we were in a prove it year to ourselves and to just others who have like kind of let us down in and out of our lives, things like that. So we were just like, we're ready to grind, right?
You have to take ownership of it.
Yeah, CJ moving in, wants to start a podcast, but showing him the ropes of like the ownership at first, like doing it the right way, getting a logo, things like that. Like unveil, like, yeah, I know you want to do stuff, but you gotta do it the right way, because once you do that, then you roll into it, right? CJ getting a little burnt out. We show him his 50 subscriber video. Then the ownership's kicked up a lot because he was like, if y'all believe in me, then there's no reason why I shouldn't take ownership. Have him do the clips at work now. Do the clips at, days where he's tired. Being consistent, because there is a way to really own it and then do that. Once you do that, then now his team's involved. Now we got everyone else under
Everybody.
him.
Everybody.
And it's like it's an ebb and flow of, everyone's happy, everyone's working together, and that's what we need. We need the competitive integrity with the ownership that makes it run.
I'll say this, and it's the crazy thing. Hell, we could really wrap it up on this one.
I think so. Talk to me.
Taking ownership makes other people want to do the same.
It does. Because then you're like, what am I doing? And then
watching y'all take ownership over what y'all loved made me like, all right, bro, there's no excuse. There's no reason. I'm not, God bless, I'm not homeless. God bless, I have money in my pocket. Mm-hmm. God bless, I have air in my lungs. God bless, I'm healthy. God bless, I have people that love me and care about me. God bless, I got a loving God that loves me, and I'm here. I'm here. Mm-hmm. What reason is there not to take that opportunity to go crazy?
Yeah.
To absolutely pursue and do what I feel like I've been put on this earth to do. You know what I mean?
No doubt.
I'll take ownership in that. Even if others are sitting here trying to deter what we're doing, it doesn't even matter like, oh, they're hating on me and they didn't never love me and they didn't never support me. They have nothing to do with what you're doing. So why are you going to let it affect that?
You can't.
Circumstances. It doesn't matter what it is. Yeah. There is always a way where you could put something forward and get out of it in return.
100%.
It doesn't matter where you, like they say, it doesn't matter where you start, it's how you finish. Because people take ownership of where they're at in that stage of what they're doing, and that's how they excel. Mm-hmm. It doesn't matter who you are, where you're from, the background you're in. You could look at Bezos. You could look at J. Cole. You could look at my boy Jocko.
Bunch of examples out there.
You could look at, it doesn't matter what realm of life you walk in, whether, again, it be music, it be entertainment, it be the fine arts, it doesn't matter what. Mm-hmm. You could literally be talking about Sun Tzu and the art of war.
Yeah.
It is all about ownership, believing, taking full responsibility and accountability.
Self-belief, all that stuff. And I think that's really that's what's going to entail, and that's what's going to elevate us.
That's what's going to...
everyone. Elevate you, the listener.
Forget us, because it's bigger than us.
This is for everyone.
It's a principle.
It's a principle.
Be accountable. Be aware. Be responsible. Be an owner. And don't just be an owner of a car. Don't be an owner of a home. Don't be an owner of a dog. Don't be an owner of some food in your pantry.
Own your actions.
Don't be an owner of your damn laundry. Be an owner of you, everything you love.
Everything comes with that.
Everything you want to pursue in this lifetime. Your actions. Be an owner. Take pride. Take joy. Mm-hmm. Don't let any set of circumstances define that. Because what you're going to realize is that you're going to start backtracking. You're going to start backstepping, two-stepping, getting caught up, getting caught in the past. And that's not going to do nothing for you.
Yep.
Own everything that's come. Take responsibility for your present and own what that rolls into your future. Mm-hmm. That's it. Mm-hmm. Take responsibility.
Take responsibility. And I think with that being said, if anybody's an owner, it's that man, Uncle June.
Yee-hee.
Yee-hee. Good job, Steve. Numbers. You're doing well. Good job, Keep It a Buck. Good job, Opinionated. Yee-hee. That's the man right there. That's an inspiration for me. He's always talking about ownership, talking about drinking smoothies, working out, exercising, making money. keeping it P as well, being a player, you know what I'm saying? Like being in your element.
That's
And whatever
sick.
that means.
I was just talking to Cam before the recording. This man, I watched a story of his one day. This man posted a Glock with a red dot, the book he was reading that day, and his smoothie he was drinking. You know how sick of a combination that is? I think my man was reading some book on finances. Literally had the blick, had a smoothie. Is that a chaotic neutral?
Chaotic.
What is that? Is he taking ownership in the fact that like he's enlightened, but he's also enlightened?
Yeah, essentially, yeah.
I don't know, man.
Yeah.
Just run the June.
But we're going to get into the June. I'm about to play A Million Not Enough by Larry June.
Real quick. Why did you pick that song?
Hey, because this man is paid. He has his life he's created, but a million not enough. And as an owner, that right there is telling you he's got to go get it still because he owns it and he wants more. And as an owner, most owners, you want more, you should want more, and you should want to take care of your people and your foundation that you're building. So that's why I picked the song Million Not Enough. And for me, nothing's going to be enough until my guys are paid, I'm paid, my family's paid, and we're on our own time. That's when it'll be enough. But it still will never be enough.
Yee-hee. Okay. Well, I ask you that because the reason I picked 2009 is a little bit more introspective. Mm-hmm. I like yours because yours comes from an accountability standpoint. Mm-hmm. It's not going to be enough until it's enough for everybody.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I pick 09 because the crazy part about the song is that the year of 2009 for Mac Miller was the year before he broke out into the scene. Mm-hmm. It's the year before he dropped Kids. Mm-hmm. You know, kicking incredibly dope
shit. Oh, yeah, demonetized.
No, that's fine. It was But it's the year before he blew up essentially.
Yeah.
Nike's on my feet. Best day ever.
Best day ever.
What's that? Kool-Aid and Frozen Pizza.
Kool-Aid and Frozen Pizza, and then the other one where he's like walking around the grocery store.
Oh, Senior Skip Day?
Yeah.
So 09 is the year before he blows up. He doesn't know anything that's gonna happen. He's just getting this rap career kicked off. He doesn't know anything. Mm-hmm. Swimming, you're now in 2019. No, 2018, I want to say this is when this album came out.
Yeah.
You're in 2018. You're on the, unfortunately at that time, what was getting to, the prime of his career. Mm-hmm. I feel like he's maturing. As a listener, you can hear his intent has changed, his heart has changed, his lyrics have changed. Everything's becoming a lot more introspective. And 09 is a reflection. And sometimes I wish I took a simpler route instead of having demons that's as big as my house. Mm. And he reflects like, okay, well, you got to jump in and swim. The light was dim in this life of sin. Like every day I got to wake up and breathe. I don't have it all, but that's all right with me. Mm-hmm. It's the acknowledgement of the things that happened. At that point in time, was just coming up, was just trying to put himself in a position that could make bread and he could really pursue, his dreams. He's in the year before his breakout. He didn't know what was going to come next. And now, 9 years down the road, 10 years down the road, he's in this position where he's probably never expected to be.
No.
He just hoped, had a dream, acted on it.
Yeah.
So it's tough because in life, I feel like, to my understanding, to where I'm at within this 25 years of life, I can only speak from my perspective. Bro, we don't know what's next. We have a hope. We pray. We have a vision. I personally talk to God about my dreams and my perspective just because I want to understand and know that everything I'm doing is for a bigger purpose in the picture. Mm-hmm. But what comes with that is taking accountability for the things that have come back. And that's why I like this, bro. It's taking ownership of everything that has happened so that moving forward, you use that, the hurt, the pain, the happiness, the joy, all the love, everything that's come with it. You're acknowledging it, you're accepting it. You understand that it probably all derived from you and the poor choices you made in that life, but you don't let that hold you down because you understand that there's more to come.
More to it.
It's bigger than us. So I think that was perfect. I think it was the perfect explanation. Understand that no matter what it is or what it may be, there's always more to it, and that nobody can ever limit you. There's only one person that can limit me, and it's nobody on this earth or in this realm of life. So,
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not really worried about any ancillaries, bro.
Yeah, no doubt. Well, thank y'all again for always listening,
For tuning in for another episode.
tuning in, watching, however you consume the content.
YouTube, Spotify, you already know what it is. Come check us out. Keep it A, 3 A's, Buck on Instagram, AORU on YouTube. Obviously, if you're clicking in with us on YouTube.
TikTok is what? What is the TikTok?
TikTok is still AORU.
Okay.
So TikTok is still AORU.
Gotcha.
All the content will be coming to you. We'll have everything tagged in the description below for all the accounts you can follow and get in tune with us. And if you guys decided to check in today with Keep It a Buck, we appreciate you for just giving us a little bit of your day, showing some love and support. We always appreciate it. This platform and this opportunity to just chop it up, bro.
Chop it up, give love, show love, and make something that anybody can listen to, and hopefully it helps you.
And remember,
that's the goal.
It's bigger than us, right?
Yeah.
It's bigger than us. It's definitely bigger than Cam, because Cam's small, but it's bigger than us. So,
anyways, I'm gonna let him get his shit off. But yeah, that's another episode of Keep It a Buck, brought to you by Opinionated Media. We'll catch you guys next episode. It's your boy Cam, and I'll see y'all later.
hey, yo, Roo, Scooby-Doo-Doo. Here.